All right, chapter 1, free response. Let's take a look at what we got and go through this. So using the coordinate plane, answer the following questions. Find the midpoint of AC. So you could probably either just look at this one and see that it's about right there. So the answer would be -2, 4. Or if you wanted to do it the real way, you write down the points, which A is at -5, 2. C is up here at 1, 6. And you average the x coordinates. So a -5 plus the 1, chop it in half. You average the y coordinates, 2 plus 6 chopped in half. And this will give you a -2, 4. So either way. Midpoint is CD. So D is down here at 5, -2. So I'm going to average the x's and y's. If I average the x's, 1 plus 5 divided by 2 will give me 3. If I average the y's, 6 plus a -2 chopped in half is 2. I verify it visually, and yep, that looks pretty good. Now, once you have those 2 points, part C says find the length of that segment that connects those 2 points together, all right, the midpoints. So ultimately, we're trying to find out how long is this line. You could use the distance formula. Not a big fan of it here. I would just make a right triangle and use the Pythagorean theorem. So we have a leg of 2 and we have a leg of 5. And so I do 2 squared plus 5 squared equals c squared. Take the square root of both sides. You're going to get the square root of 29, which is approximately, what did I come up with here? Roughly 5.4. All right. Next problem. We have a midpoint problem. So I'm going to draw this segment. It says M is the midpoint of ST. So M is smack dab in the middle of S and T. I'll show it with congruency marks. I label, this is 3x plus 8. MT is 6x minus 4. Because SM equals MT, I can just do the algebra and set those 2 expressions equal to each other. And I minus the 3x from both sides. So I minus 3x. Now I'm going to add 4 to both sides. And then I'm going to divide by 3. And I get x equals 4. Set up an equation, solve for x. Find s to t. So s to t is this entire length. So when I plug this 4 back in, 3 times 4 is 12, plus 8 would be 20. This side is also going to be 20. So the full distance from s to t would be 40. All right. Moving to the next page. 2 angles are complementary. So complementary, remember, means that they add up to 90 degrees. So I don't really know who's what, but we have M, L, N, N, and NLK, and they got to be 90 degrees. So MLN is 7x minus 1. NLK is 4x plus 3. So I need to add those 2 together and make sure that they add up to 90, because that's what complementary means. I gather some like terms. I get 11x plus 2. I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. I get 11x equals 88. Divide by 11, and I get x equals 8. And then they want us to find the 2 angles. So I plug the 8 in right here. 7 times 8 is 56 minus 1 would be 55 degrees. And then 4 times 8 is 32, plus 3 is 35 degrees. And yes, those 2 do equal 90, so I must have did my algebra correctly. Next question. The old north, south, east, west that we've done, on the practice test and on the quiz, and we did it on the homework, so hopefully you're getting better at these. The school is 12 miles north, 9 miles east of the house. So the school is 12 north, 9 to the east. That's the school. The rec center is 4 to the south and 7 to the west. And this is the rec. And basically we need to figure out how far is it from point to point. And I'm going to make a right triangle out of that. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add up all of this, which is basically the south 4 and then the north 12, which is 16. And then this leg is going to be the 9 plus the 7, which is also 16. 2 ways you can do it now. You could do Pythagorean theorem. You're going to take square root of both sides, which is the square root of 512, which was roughly 22.6. You also could have used the shortcut that whenever you have half of a square, which basically that's what we have here. We have half of a square. I know that it's going to be the length of the side times the square root of 2, which should also give me 22.6. Might be a little quicker to do it that way. And last problem, this was the tough one. This one's kind of tricky on the eyes, but BD chops in half ABE, so that means that this piece equals that piece. BE chops in half ABG, so BE would mean that this side is equal to this side. And then they give me a couple angles. They tell me that EBF is 37. EBF, so this slice right here is 37. CBG is 44. So I have some missing pieces. 1, 2, 3 missing pieces I need to get. So I think the easiest way to start this one out is to recognize that the full half circle here is 180. And since I know that this sliver is 44, I can find this piece right here, this other part of the circle, is going to be 180 minus 44, which is 136. Whoop, didn't mean to make that so fat. 136, and that angle of 136 was ABG. Okay, we now know that this ABG was 136. So BE chops that in half. So half of 36 is 68. So that means that this red piece here is 68. This red piece here is 68. And I'm going to use the fact that these two bisected that. So I'm going to cut it in half. So now I have 34, 34. I got the 37. If this piece right here is 68 and we have 37, when I subtract those two, I'll get 31. So now I believe I have every sliver on lockdown. 44, 31, 37, 34, and 34. So ultimately, what are we after? We're after DBF. So D to B to F is right here. So we need to add the 37 plus the 34. 37 plus 34 is 71 degrees. That one was pretty tough. That's a challenging problem.